Have you ever wondered if, in the midst of our modern lives, there are still mysteries that science has yet to unravel? From bizarre creatures and unexplained sounds to chilling legends that weave their way across America, these enigmas continue to stir our curiosity and, at times, send shivers down our spines. Join us as we embark on a journey to explore the unsolved mysteries of America in today's video. So fasten your seatbelt as we dive into today's mystery. But first, you'll have incredible luck if you like and subscribe before this video ends. The WOW signal, an unusually powerful radio signal detected in 1977, suspected to originate from extraterrestrial intelligence. On a quiet summer night in 1977, at the Big Ear Observatory in Ohio, scientists recorded a radio signal so strange and unprecedented that it would soon become one of astronomy's most enduring mysteries. The signal was so intense that astronomer Jerry Amon could only react in astonishment, scribbling the now famous exclamation, "Wow," on the printout. From that moment, the WOW signal was forever etched into the annals of science as an enigma that is yet to be unraveled. The WOW signal lasted precisely 72 seconds, a duration that matched exactly the time it would take a radio telescope to sweep past a fixed point in the sky. What made the event even more remarkable was the signal's origin. It appeared to come from a spot near the constellation Sagittarius, an empty stretch of sky with no known stars or planets at the time that could possibly account for the signal's extraordinary power. Almost immediately, scientists began to ask questions. Could this be a message from an alien civilization? For the first time in modern astronomical history, researchers had what appeared to be compelling evidence that perhaps humanity was not alone in the vastness of the cosmos. In the years that followed, dozens of observatories around the world turned their antennas toward that same point in the universe, desperately hoping to catch the mysterious signal once more. But regrettably, every attempt ended in failure. The WOW signal was never heard again. Countless theories have been put forward in an effort to explain the event. Some have argued that it might have been a signal from a classified military satellite or the result of accidental interference from Earth. Yet, scientists maintain that the signal was unlike anything humanity had ever produced. Its frequency was remarkably specific, exactly the kind expected from an artificial transmitter. Some researchers have even suggested that the WOW signal could have been an intentional message from a distant civilization, trying to make contact with us. But if that were true, if this truly was a greeting from intelligent beings beyond our world, then why was the signal sent only once, never to be repeated? Were they deliberately keeping their distance? Or was it simply an accidental transmission that happened to reach our antenna, much as we sometimes inadvertently send radio waves into space? 4 decades have passed, and the astronomical community is still searching. But the WOW signal remains a riddle with no answer. For many, it stands as the most tantalizing evidence yet for the existence of extraterrestrial life. For others, it is a sobering reminder that, despite all our progress, we remain small and alone beneath the vast, mysterious canopy of the universe. Whatever the truth behind the WOW signal may be, that brief, mysterious transmission continues to inspire us to look up, to keep asking the most profound questions about life, about intelligence, and about our true place in the infinite cosmos. The assassination of President John F. Kennedy. On November 22, 1963, beneath the dazzling midday sun in Dallas, Texas, President John F. Kennedy smiled and waved to the crowds from his open-top limousine. Just moments later, the world was plunged into shock. Gunshots rang out, and the young, talented president fell, struck down before the eyes of thousands of onlookers. To this day, Kennedy's death remains one of the most mysterious and controversial cases in American history. Lee Harvey Oswald was swiftly arrested and named the sole assassin. But only 2 days later, Oswald himself was shot and killed by Jack Ruby, a nightclub owner, right inside the police station, ensuring that the motives and truths behind the case would remain forever buried. What really happened on that fateful day? Official investigations concluded that Oswald acted alone, but many believed that there were far greater and darker forces at work behind the assassination. One of the most persistent theories is the involvement of secret organizations or even the American intelligence agencies themselves. Many have argued that Kennedy became a target because he sought to limit the power of the CIA and reduce American involvement in the Vietnam War. Could these ambitions have made him an enemy to those closest to him? Another theory points to the mafia. The Kennedy family's history with organized crime was complex, and many believe the assassination was an act of revenge by notorious mob bosses. These were the very people who had once helped Kennedy win the presidency, only to feel betrayed when he turned against them in his crusade to dismantle their power. Nor does the mystery end there. Independent investigations have cast doubt on the fatal shot itself. Was it truly possible for Oswald, acting alone, to fire with such precision? Numerous witnesses claim to have heard multiple gunshots from different directions, raising suspicions that more than one gunman may have been involved in the conspiracy. Nearly 6 decades have passed, yet the assassination of President Kennedy remains a deep wound in the heart of America. Hundreds of classified documents have been released, thousands of books and films have been produced, and still, the ultimate truth lingers in darkness. Perhaps we will never know the entire story, but it is precisely this lingering mystery and unending doubt that have made the Kennedy assassination one of the greatest enigmas of the 20th century. The lost treasure of Captain Kidd. Hidden beneath the legends of the sea, buried deep within the faded pages of history and age-old folklore, there lies a treasure that has remained lost for centuries. This is the legendary hoard of the notorious pirate William Kidd. It is said that this treasure, overflowing with gold, gemstones, and countless riches gathered from distant seas, has kept hundreds of American treasure hunters awake at night, obsessed with the quest to find it. The story of Captain Kidd's treasure begins in the 17th century, when William Kidd, a Scottish sailor, was granted authority to hunt pirates in order to protect England's commercial interests. But fate quickly turned him from guardian to outlaw, transforming him into the very pirate he had once been tasked to pursue. His voyages became synonymous with raids and brutal chases, allowing Kidd to amass a vast fortune, but also making him one of the most wanted men of his time. At last, in 1699, Kidd was captured and brought back to England, where he was executed in London in 1701. Yet before his death, he revealed something that shocked everyone. He claimed to have hidden the greater part of his treasure in a secret location somewhere along the eastern shores of America, and thus, the legend of Kidd's lost treasure was born. The earliest stories claimed that the treasure was buried on Gardiner's Island, off the coast of New York. Initial searchers did uncover a small portion of the loot, but the vast majority has remained missing to this day. Over time, rumors surrounding the treasure have only multiplied and become more difficult to verify. Dozens of ancient maps and mysterious directions have surfaced, each claiming to lead seekers to the buried treasure. Yet, every time someone seems to draw close to the truth, the clues vanish, almost as if Kidd himself had cursed his treasure so that no one could ever reach it. The search has spanned generations, claiming the lives and fortunes of countless people, but never producing any truly remarkable discovery. Some believe that Kidd was not merely an ordinary pirate, but a genius at hiding his wealth. Perhaps he divided his fortune into many parts, scattered them across numerous secret locations, and planted false clues to confound anyone who dared to pursue him. Others have argued that, in truth, Kidd's treasure was never as great as people imagined. Modern researchers have employed the most advanced technologies, from ground-penetrating radar to satellite analysis, yet still have not been able to pinpoint the treasure's location. Does Kidd's hoard truly exist, or is it merely a legend spun from the fertile imagination of later generations? And yet, it is precisely this mystery and ambiguity that make the story of Kidd's treasure so compelling. It is not merely a tale of lost wealth, but also a story of greed, adventure, and the enduring allure of secrets buried deep within the earth. Will American treasure hunters ever uncover the truth? Or will Captain Kidd's treasure remain one of the sea's unsolved mysteries? Until the day the hoard is found, the tale of the infamous pirate William Kidd and his legendary treasure will continue to live on, inspiring generations to embark on the ultimate quest. Bigfoot. Amid the dense and untamed forests stretching from California to the remote mountain ranges of the Pacific Northwest, a legend has endured for centuries, captivating both the curiosity and fear of those who venture into the wild. This is the story of Bigfoot, a towering creature, humanoid in form but covered in thick ape-like fur, said to appear and vanish mysteriously in the misty woods of North America. The tale of Bigfoot is far from new. For generations, Native American tribes have spoken of a strange, elusive, and immensely powerful being dwelling in the heart of the deep forests. They gave it many names, but all described the same uncanny figure, one that seemed to exist somewhere between human and ape. But it wasn't until 1967 that the legend of Bigfoot truly exploded onto the world stage. That year, Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin captured a brief film, less than a minute long, at Bluff Creek, California. The footage revealed a massive figure striding purposefully through the woods, glancing back toward the camera before disappearing into the trees. While the authenticity of the film has been hotly debated ever since, no one has ever conclusively proven it to be a hoax. Since that moment, thousands across America have claimed to encounter Bigfoot. Some speak of strange howls echoing through the night, of enormous footprints found in places untouched by man, or even of chilling face-to-face encounters that haunt them for years. Yet for all the efforts to uncover proof, no one has ever captured a living Bigfoot, or found any remains that could be conclusively linked to such a creature. Some scientists believe that Bigfoot is nothing more than a product of imagination, a myth fueled by folklore and misidentification. Others speculate that Bigfoot might be a surviving descendant of Gigantopithecus, a colossal ape thought to have gone extinct tens of thousands of years ago. There are even those who propose that Bigfoot is a yet undiscovered species, intelligent enough to evade humans and live in complete isolation within the wilderness. What is most intriguing, however, is that Bigfoot is not unique to North America. In the Himalayas, legends persist of the Yeti, the abominable snowman, a creature remarkably similar in description. Could it be that all these tales are fragments of a hidden truth? Evidence of a mysterious species that has lived alongside humanity for millennia, all but invisible to our eyes? Whatever the truth may be, Bigfoot remains an inseparable part of American folklore. For many, Bigfoot embodies the mysteries of nature still waiting to be discovered, a living reminder that the world is far larger and more enigmatic than we often imagine. The disappearance of Amelia Earhart. In the summer of 1937, the entire world held its breath following the ambitious journey of Amelia Earhart, the most courageous woman in the history of aviation. Amelia was not merely the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic. She was determined to accomplish an even greater feat, a flight around the globe. Yet that grand dream was forever shrouded in mystery when Amelia Earhart vanished without a trace somewhere over the vast Pacific Ocean. On July 2, 1937, Earhart, together with her navigator Fred Noonan, took off from New Guinea bound for Howland Island, a tiny speck in the middle of the ocean. This was the most challenging leg of their entire journey, a flight of over 2,500 miles across open sea, where even the slightest navigational error could mean disappearing forever. In her final hours, Amelia Earhart sent repeated radio messages to the U.S. Coast Guard vessel waiting at Howland Island. Her voice came through clear but tense. Then, only minutes later, all contact was lost. Amelia Earhart and Fred Noonan seemed to vanish into thin air, and the legendary Lockheed Electra aircraft was never seen again. Almost immediately, the United States military launched what was, at the time, the largest search operation in history. Dozens of ships and planes meticulously combed the waters where Earhart was last known to be. But after weeks of relentless effort, the search ended without a single clue. Amelia Earhart had officially become one of the greatest mysteries of the 20th century. Since that day, countless theories have emerged regarding Earhart's fate. Some researchers believe her plane ran out of fuel and crashed into the Pacific, sinking into its endless depths. Others are convinced that Earhart made an emergency landing on a deserted island, surviving for a short while before dying in solitude. But stranger theories have also been proposed. There are those who claim Amelia Earhart was captured by the Japanese military before the outbreak of World War II and spent the rest of her life in secrecy. Some even suggest that Earhart returned to America and lived under a new identity, though no credible evidence has ever surfaced to support these claims. Over the years, new searches have been conducted with ever more advanced technology, Yet the story of Amelia Earhart has never been fully solved. Even today, her disappearance continues to serve as both an inspiring and tragic reminder of the boundaries humanity dares to push, and the mysteries that persist in our world. Perhaps Amelia Earhart will forever remain a symbol of courage, perseverance, and the desire to conquer new horizons. At the same time, she has become the embodiment of unsolvable mysteries, captivating the imagination of millions around the globe. The Men in Black phenomenon, mysterious men who appear after every UFO sighting, figures clad in black, behaving strangely, always seeking to silence witnesses through threats or cryptic warnings not to reveal what they have seen. This is the Men in Black phenomenon, one of the most perplexing enigmas of the modern world. Stories of the Men in Black began in the 1940s, though their true origins may stretch much further back. These are not characters conjured by Hollywood, but part of countless real-world reports from those who claim to have encountered unidentified flying objects. These men are always described the same way: impeccably dressed in black suits, crisp white shirts, dark ties, polished leather shoes, and often shielding their eyes behind dark sunglasses. Yet this polished appearance only makes their presence more unnerving. Witnesses often recount that these men have unnaturally pale skin, emotionless faces, and voices that are stiff and mechanical, as if programmed rather than human. Reports of the Men in Black surged most notably in the 1950s and 1960s. One of the earliest incidents occurred in 1947 on Maury Island. Harold Dahl claimed to have seen 6 mysterious flying objects in the sky, only to be visited soon after by a mysterious man in black who threatened him and insisted he keep the story secret. This incident is often seen as the catalyst for a wave of similar encounters that would follow. Another famous case is that of Albert Bender in 1952. Bender, founder of the International Flying Saucer Bureau, abruptly dissolved his organization after meeting 3 men in black suits. They warned him not to disclose his findings, leaving him so terrified that he abandoned UFO research altogether. The event gained widespread attention through Gray Barker's 1956 book, They Knew Too Much About Flying Saucers, which ignited fierce debate within the UFO community. But who truly are the Men in Black, and why are they so interested in UFO sightings? Over the decades, numerous theories have been proposed. One of the most widely believed is that they are agents from government agencies such as the FBI or CIA, tasked with concealing evidence of extraterrestrial life to prevent public panic. Supporters of this theory are convinced that the US government knows far more about UFOs than the public is allowed to know. Others believe that these mysterious men are not human at all. According to this view, their bizarre appearance might indicate that they are extraterrestrial beings disguised as humans, whose mission is to control and suppress information about UFOs and alien activity. There are also skeptics who argue that the entire Men in Black phenomenon is a product of collective imagination or psychological hallucination. Psychologists suggest that people under stress or panic after witnessing something extraordinary are prone to misremember or invent details, inadvertently creating the myth of these enigmatic figures. Some theories suggest the phenomenon is nothing more than a deliberate hoax or prank, perhaps a cover for secret military programs. Yet, if it is merely a hoax or fabrication, why have hundreds of people across the world described the same type of figure, the same methods of approach, and the same menacing message? To this day, no single theory has been able to explain every aspect of the phenomenon. The Men in Black continue to exist on the border between fact and folklore, while popular culture has turned them into the stars of a hit action comedy film. The real-life accounts still leave us skeptical and questioning. Whoever they are, one thing is certain: the Men in Black have become icons of mystery, a persistent reminder that there are truths we may not yet be ready to face. The phenomenon remains unexplained, and until someone can prove the reality behind these Men in Black, they will remain one of the strangest and most enduring mysteries in modern history. Area 51 and UFOs. Hidden deep within the desolate deserts of Nevada lies a military installation so secretive that, for decades, the United States government refused to even acknowledge its existence. This is Area 51, a place that has become a symbol of mystery and the strange phenomena linked to aliens and unidentified flying objects. The story of Area 51 began to capture public attention in 1947 after a mysterious object crashed near the small town of Roswell, New Mexico. Initially, the US military announced that it had recovered a flying disc, but within hours, the statement was retracted and replaced with an explanation that it was merely a weather balloon. This sudden reversal immediately fueled suspicions that the government was hiding something far more significant. From that moment on, stories, photographs, and videos of unidentified objects in the skies over Nevada began to proliferate. Many eyewitnesses claimed to have seen strange lights hovering above the desert, moving with speeds and maneuvers that defied any known aviation technology. One of the most enduring theories is that Area 51 is far more than just a secret military base. It is said to be the site where the US government studies and tests alien technology recovered from crashed UFOs. Some believe that advanced technologies such as stealth aircraft, cutting-edge radar systems, and even modern weaponry all have their origins in secrets hidden away within Area 51. In 1989, the legend reached new heights when Bob Lazar, a physicist who claimed to have worked in the area, revealed to the world that he had participated in a project involving extraterrestrial spacecraft. Lazar insisted that the government had recovered and was studying at least 9 different alien craft, and that he had personally seen documents, blueprints, and even components from these ships. Despite these claims, the US government has consistently denied all allegations relating to UFOs and extraterrestrials. It was not until 2013 that the CIA, for the first time in history, officially acknowledged the existence of Area 51, but they maintained that it was merely a testing ground for advanced military aircraft, with no connection whatsoever to aliens. So what is Area 51 really hiding? Is it simply a high-tech military base? Or, as many continue to suspect, is it truly the meeting point between humanity and civilizations from beyond our world? To this day, Area 51 remains at the heart of countless theories and relentless curiosity. Perhaps we will never know the full truth, but it is precisely this unsolved mystery that makes Area 51 so captivating, an enigma that continues to fascinate and challenge the imagination of people everywhere. The Bermuda Triangle, thousands of miles off the coast of Florida, hidden deep within the Atlantic Ocean, lies a region shrouded in mystery, a place where countless ships and airplanes have vanished without a trace. This is the Bermuda Triangle, or, as it is sometimes called, the Devil's Triangle. This vast area forms a giant triangle connecting Miami, San Juan, and the island of Bermuda. For decades, it has been the focal point of countless stories about inexplicable disappearances. The legend of the Bermuda Triangle first captured worldwide attention in 1945 with the mysterious disappearance of Flight 19. 5 US Navy bombers departed from Florida on a routine training mission. Within hours, the entire squadron reported becoming disoriented, then disappeared completely from radar. Even more chilling, the rescue plane sent to search for them never returned. To this day, not a single piece of wreckage or any sign of the planes has ever been found. This incident is just one among many inexplicable vanishings that have occurred in the Bermuda Triangle. Over time, numerous theories have been put forward to explain the mysteries of this region. Some scientists believe that natural phenomena, such as the powerful Gulf Stream current or bursts of methane gas from the ocean floor, have caused sudden disasters. Others suggest that the area's unusual magnetic fields may interfere with navigation equipment on ships and aircraft. Yet more mystical theories have also gained traction. Some believe that the Bermuda Triangle is a hub for extraterrestrial activity, a place where abductions occur in secret. Others propose that a portal in space exists here, transporting victims to another parallel world. There is even the far-fetched theory that the legendary city of Atlantis lies hidden beneath these waters, its mysterious energy still influencing events to this day. Despite numerous investigations and remarkable advances in technology, the mystery of the Bermuda Triangle has never been fully solved. Scientific studies indicate that the number of disappearances in this area is not significantly higher than in other busy regions of the world's oceans. Even so, its allure persists in the public imagination, a blend of strange disappearances and the boundless creativity of the human mind. Perhaps the Bermuda Triangle is not a mystery waiting to be solved, but rather a reminder that the ocean still conceals wonders far beyond our understanding. Until the answers are finally revealed, the Bermuda Triangle will continue to draw in the curious, the adventurers, and all those who remain captivated by the world's enduring enigmas. The Roswell Incident, 1947. On a summer morning in 1947, in the lonely deserts of Roswell, New Mexico, a strange object fell from the sky, marking the beginning of one of the greatest mysteries in modern history. This is the story of the Roswell Incident, a case that has stirred controversy for more than 70 years and has become a symbol of humanity's boundless curiosity about life beyond Earth. On July 8, 1947, the U.S. military in Roswell released a statement that stunned the world. They had recovered debris from a flying disc that had crashed on a farm outside town. The announcement spread rapidly through newspapers, igniting a worldwide sensation. But only a day later, the military abruptly reversed its original claim, asserting that the object was nothing more than a simple weather balloon, with no connection to aliens. The contradiction between the government's two statements became the seed of countless questions, suspicions, and conspiracy theories that would endure for decades. Why did officials change their story so suddenly? Was there something far more serious that the military was determined to hide? Many local witnesses, including farmers and servicemen who worked at the crash site, later described strange details. They spoke of debris with an unusual structure, materials that could not be bent or destroyed by any ordinary means. Some even claimed to have seen the bodies of strange beings, creatures with human-like shapes, but small stature, gray skin, and disproportionately large eyes. Theories quickly proliferated, with the most prominent being that the US military had actually found evidence of extraterrestrial life, but had to keep it secret to avoid public panic and protect classified military technology. Some believe that the bodies of these strange beings were transported to Area 51 for study, and that alien technology was reverse engineered there. Yet, the US government has always staunchly denied all such allegations. In 1994, the US Air Force officially stated that the object that fell in Roswell was, in fact, part of the secret Project Mogul, a program using high-altitude balloons to monitor Soviet nuclear tests. The supposed alien bodies, they claimed, were simply crash test dummies dropped from great heights, and the initial confusion was nothing more than a misunderstanding. However, this explanation has never been enough to satisfy those who believe in the existence of extraterrestrial life. Many argue that these are just more tactics to continue the cover-up. Former servicemen and UFO researchers still insist that they personally witnessed the craft and beings that science cannot explain. Roswell has since become the ultimate icon for the UFO community and conspiracy theorists alike. It has inspired countless stories, books, films, and television shows. From this incident, millions around the world began to contemplate more deeply the possibility of advanced civilizations beyond Earth, turning Roswell into a hotspot for debates that seem never-ending. Nearly 80 years have passed since that fateful day, yet the mystery of Roswell continues to grow. Those who support the alien theory keep searching for evidence, while skeptics are always ready to dismiss any new clue. But whatever the truth may be, the Roswell incident has forever changed the way humanity looks at the universe around us. No matter how many statements or explanations are given, Roswell remains a great unanswered question. Could it be that we are not truly alone in the cosmos? Might life from beyond have visited Earth, leaving behind traces that we still cannot explain? The phantom time hypothesis. Have you ever wondered if everything we know about history might be a grand deception? That hundreds of years in our past might never have actually happened at all? This is the essence of one of the strangest theories ever conceived, the phantom time hypothesis. This hypothesis suggests that the history we accept today has been manipulated and that nearly 3 centuries simply never existed. The story begins in 1991, when a German historian named Heribert Illig made a shocking claim. He argued that the period from 614 to 911 AD was entirely fictitious, and that the historical events we have come to accept, such as the reign of Charlemagne or the expansion of the Byzantine Empire, were in fact the inventions of cunning medieval rulers. But why would anyone want to fabricate nearly 300 years of history? According to Illig, the answer lies in a political conspiracy orchestrated by Emperor Otto III, Pope Sylvester II, and Byzantine Emperor Constantine VII at the end of the 10th century. Their alleged goal was to rewrite history so that Otto III's reign would fall precisely in the year 1000 AD. To achieve this, they invented almost 3 centuries of fictitious history, editing the world's timeline in an act of unprecedented audacity. Supporters of this theory point to various anomalies in the historical record. They argue that many documents from the period between 614 and 911 are vague or missing altogether. Architectural works, coins, and written records are strangely scarce. Furthermore, they note that the Julian calendar, which was used in Europe before the switch to the Gregorian calendar in the 16th century, is off by about 10 days. If more than 1,600 years had truly passed, they argue, this gap should be much greater. But if these years never happened, who were the famous figures like Charlemagne? Were they wholly invented characters, or simply minor historical figures whose stories were inflated to fill a historical void? This hypothesis has been fiercely challenged by historians. Experts point to abundant archaeological, astronomical, and ancient documentary evidence from around the world that confirm this period really did occur. Yet even the strongest rebuttals have not entirely dampened the strange allure of the phantom time hypothesis. It is the peculiar gaps in our understanding of history and the odd inconsistencies in ancient records that keep this theory alive and controversial. Its supporters remain convinced that history is not an absolute truth. Perhaps, they argue, history is simply a tale told from the perspective of the victors, or worse, rewritten entirely for complex political purposes. Whether you believe in the phantom time hypothesis or not, it poses a challenging question. How much do we really know about the past? And could it be that, hidden within the thousands of years of human history, there are still mysterious blanks, forgotten stories, and truths buried forever? The lost colony of Roanoke. Hundreds of years before the first stable colonies were founded, a mysterious story began, leaving behind only a single, enigmatic word, Croatoan. That was the lone clue left from the Roanoke colony, the very first English settlement in the New World, where more than 100 people vanished without a trace at the end of the 16th century. The story began in the summer of 1587, when a group of 115 English settlers, led by John White, landed on Roanoke Island with the ambition of building a new future in this unfamiliar land. They constructed homes, laid out plans for permanence, and even welcomed the birth of Virginia Dare, the first English child born on American soil. But soon, strange circumstances began to unfold. Struggling with shortages, John White was forced to return to England, promising he would come back quickly with much-needed supplies. Fate, however, had other plans. The war between England and Spain trapped White in Europe for 3 long years. When he finally managed to return to Roanoke in August 1590, he could not have anticipated what awaited him. The once vibrant settlement was now utterly deserted. There were no signs of violence, no remains, no hastily abandoned belongings, nothing to explain where the settlers had gone. The only thing White found was a cryptic word carved deep into the trunk of a tree, Croatoan. Croatoan was the name of a nearby island, known today as Hatteras Island, home to a native tribe that had once been friendly with the colonists. But why had the people of Roanoke left? Did they choose to abandon the colony in search of safety, or were they forced out by some unknown force? And if so, why has no trace of them ever been found? For more than 400 years, the mystery of Roanoke's fate has challenged historians and researchers alike. Some theories suggest that the settlers assimilated into local tribes, surviving for generations. Recent archaeological evidence uncovered on Hatteras Island and nearby sites hints at a European presence dating from the late 1500s. Yet, to this day, no one can say for certain if these fragments truly belong to the lost colony. Other theories point to possible conflicts with local tribes, disease, or famine wiping out the community. And there are even more fantastical explanations, that the people of Roanoke fell victim to some supernatural force. But all these theories are missing one critical piece: proof. What makes Roanoke's mystery endure is not just the baffling disappearance of an entire community, but also the singular way they left their mark. Croatoan was not a clear plea for help, nor a warning. It was an enigmatic message that has never been decoded. Why did they choose to leave such an ambiguous sign instead of clearly stating what had happened to them? To this day, the Roanoke colony remains one of the greatest enigmas in American history. Archaeological studies, DNA analysis, and modern scientific tools have yet to break the centuries-old veil of secrecy. Roanoke is not the only mystery history has kept hidden, nor will it be the last to leave humanity searching for answers. Sometimes the truth lies deep beneath the earth. Sometimes it is concealed in strange symbols. And sometimes it is simply a single word hastily carved into the bark of a tree. Will we ever uncover the truth behind the lost colony of Roanoke? Or will it remain forever one of the unresolved riddles of human history? Only time can answer that question. The Philadelphia Experiment. In 1943, at a shipyard in Philadelphia, the U.S. Navy was rumored to have conducted a top-secret military experiment, one that would give rise to one of the strangest and most hotly debated mysteries in American military history, the Philadelphia Experiment. At the heart of this story is the USS Eldridge, a small destroyer escort that, according to witnesses, vanished entirely before their very eyes. This tale, which seems almost fantastical, began with the account of a man named Carl Allen, also known as Carlos Allende. According to Allen, on October 28, 1943, the U.S. Navy tested a new technology designed to render the USS Eldridge invisible to radar. But what happened next went far beyond anyone's imagination. The Eldridge didn't just vanish from radar, it disappeared from sight altogether, only to reappear minutes later in Norfolk, Virginia, hundreds of miles away. Yet, when the USS Eldridge returned to Philadelphia, the crew seemed to bear the terrible consequences of this bizarre event. Some sailors were said to have vanished forever. Others became trapped, fused into the ship's metal walls, as if their bodies had merged with the steel. Those who survived were reported to have gone mad or suffered from severe neurological problems for the rest of their lives. Many believe that the experiment was based on Albert Einstein's unified field theory, intending to create an intense electromagnetic field that could bend light and render the ship invisible. However, no one really knows what technology, if any, was actually used, or even if the experiment happened at all. The U.S. Navy has never acknowledged the existence of the Philadelphia experiment and has always denied any related accusations. For decades, researchers have tried to uncover the truth behind this mysterious story. Some argue that the entire affair was merely a misunderstanding about degaussing experiments, routines meant to protect ships from magnetic mines. Others believe that Carl Allen fabricated the story as an elaborate hoax. But if it were truly just a fabrication, why have so many others insisted that they witnessed these strange events firsthand? Some theories go even further, suggesting that the Philadelphia experiment inadvertently opened a doorway to another dimension, or enabled a form of teleportation that modern science still cannot comprehend. Proponents of this theory claim the Navy stumbled upon something far beyond their control, and then felt compelled to cover it up entirely. Although there is no definitive evidence to either prove or disprove the Philadelphia experiment, it is this very ambiguity that has turned it into one of the most famous mysteries of the 20th century. The story has appeared in countless books, films, and pieces of popular culture, becoming a symbol of the unsolved secrets of military and scientific history. Yet what truly makes the Philadelphia experiment both fascinating and haunting is the very uncertainty at its core. Is it nothing more than an urban legend, an elaborate hoax, or was it really a military experiment that went far beyond the limits of human control? And if such a powerful technology, capable of bending space and time, did exist, where might it be now? The Black Hope Curse. Hidden beneath the peaceful homes in the quiet town of Crosby, Texas, lies a long-forgotten darkness, a mystery the locals call the Black Hope Curse. It is said that this very curse has been responsible for a series of tragic, unexplained, and chilling events that have haunted the area for decades. The story begins in the early 1980s, when a new residential development called Newport was built on the outskirts of Crosby. It was meant to be an idyllic community, a place where young families eagerly set out to build new lives. But what none of them could have imagined was that the land they had chosen concealed a shadowy secret, buried and undisturbed for generations. Sam and Judith Haney were among the very first families to move into Newport, yet their joy lasted only until the day they decided to dig a swimming pool in their backyard in 1982. As the digging began, they uncovered 2 old, weathered coffins buried right beneath their yard. From that moment, their lives changed entirely. Upon investigation, they discovered that the entire Newport subdivision had been built over the forgotten Black Hope Cemetery, the final resting place for African Americans whose memories had faded from living history long ago. Even more unsettling, as soon as the coffins were brought up, the Haneys began to experience a series of bizarre occurrences inside their own home. Clocks that were not plugged in would suddenly glow in the darkness. Mysterious footsteps echoed through the hallways at night, and objects would vanish, only to reappear in places where no one could have left them. At the same time, neighbors began to report similar events, trees withering and dying without explanation, shadowy figures appearing and then vanishing as though they had never existed at all. Tragedy began to follow the residents of this small community. Some who had always been healthy suddenly fell gravely ill, while others endured a relentless streak of inexplicable bad luck. One after another, families abandoned what was once their dream home, driven out by fear and heartbreak. Was it possible, they wondered, that the spirits whose rest had been disturbed were now trying to send a warning to the living? Residents of Newport soon filed lawsuits against the developers, accusing them of failing to warn them about the cemetery that lay directly beneath their feet. Yet the legal battles only brought more pain and loss. Families lost their homes, slid into bankruptcy, and continued to face inexplicable phenomena for which there was no rational explanation. More and more people came to believe that they were suffering the consequences of having unwittingly violated the final sanctuary of restless souls. For decades, researchers have sought scientific answers for what has transpired in Newport. Some believe that it is psychological trauma, the shock of discovering the cemetery beneath their homes, that has led to a kind of collective haunting. Yet there are many who remain convinced that something supernatural, something beyond human understanding, exists at Black Hope. The Black Hope curse has become not just a mystery known throughout America, but also a haunting warning. It reminds us of the importance of respecting the past, and especially the dead. Sometimes, human carelessness can awaken forces for which we are not at all prepared. Are the strange stories of Black Hope Cemetery merely coincidence, or are they truly the signs of an ancient curse? To this day, no one has been able to provide a satisfactory answer. And as night falls, those who once lived in Newport may still wonder whether the spirits beneath their old homes have truly found peace, or if they are still waiting for the chance to speak one final time. The Winchester Mystery House. In the city of San Jose, California, there stands a house so strange and mysterious that its name is still spoken with fascination by many Americans, the Winchester Mystery House. This house is unlike any other. From the outside, it appears to be a grand mansion, but once you step inside, it is easy to feel lost and bewildered by the overwhelming complexity and illogical design of its structure. The mistress of the house was Sarah Winchester, heiress to the immense fortune of the Winchester Rifle Company. After the devastating loss of her husband and daughter, Sarah was left to live in sorrow and fear. She came to believe that her family was cursed, haunted by the restless spirits of those killed by Winchester rifles. It was a medium who advised her that as long as she continued to build and expand her house without pause, these spirits would never find her. And so, for 38 years, Sarah oversaw relentless construction and renovation on her home, never letting a single day pass without some new addition or alteration. Today, the Winchester Mystery House contains more than 160 rooms, with countless staircases, corridors, doors, windows, and even secret chambers. There are stairways that climb straight into the ceiling only to stop abruptly, doors that open onto solid brick walls, and winding hallways whose destinations no one can predict. Many believe that Sarah herself intentionally designed the house as a labyrinth, hoping to confuse and evade the spirits that she thought were pursuing her. Beyond its bizarre architecture, the Winchester Mystery House is also infamous for its ghost stories. Many who have lived or worked within its walls have reported hearing strange noises, the sound of footsteps echoing through the halls at night, or the unmistakable sensation of being watched, even when no one else was around. Some visitors have even claimed to see shadowy figures, doors opening and closing by themselves, or a sudden inexplicable chill in certain rooms. Every year, the Winchester Mystery House draws hundreds of thousands of tourists, all eager to witness and explore the enduring mysteries that fill its halls. Whether or not you believe in ghosts, there is no denying that this house possesses an atmosphere that is truly unique, something deeply different and hard to explain. Some say it is all coincidence, a product of imagination and legend. But many others are convinced that the Winchester Mystery House is genuinely haunted. Even today, the story of this house remains a source of endless curiosity. Why did Sarah Winchester continue to build without end? Are there truly spirits dwelling within its walls? Or was it simply the burden of grief and obsession that one woman carried with her for a lifetime? The Taos hum. In the small town of Taos, New Mexico, there exists a phenomenon so peculiar that it has puzzled both scientists and residents for decades. It is known as the Taos hum, a low droning sound of unknown origin that only a select group of people can hear, while the vast majority remain entirely oblivious to its presence. The story began in the 1990s, when numerous Taos residents began to complain of an annoying humming noise, something like a distant engine or the faint static of a weak radio signal. What made it truly bizarre was that not everyone could hear it. Even when scientists arrived with sensitive equipment to measure the environment, they could not detect any unusual frequencies or sound waves in the area. Some who heard the noise described it as a constant ringing in the ears or the low rumble of an engine idling at night. For them, the sound was relentless, sometimes lasting for hours, robbing them of sleep and leaving them exhausted. Theories about the cause of the Taos hum are as varied as they are inconclusive. Some believe it to be natural infrasound emanating from deep within the earth. Others suspect electrical systems, industrial machinery, or even covert military technology. There are scientists who have suggested that it could simply be a psychological effect, that only those with heightened sensitivity in their hearing or certain psychological traits might perceive the sound. Local authorities have organized numerous surveys and called in audio experts to investigate, but no one has managed to provide a definitive explanation. Sophisticated equipment was set up throughout the town, but none detected anything out of the ordinary. This has only deepened the mystery, turning the Taos hum into one of the area's greatest enigmas. Even though no one has ever discovered its true source, the phenomenon has become a distinct part of local culture, and a subject that continues to attract researchers from across the United States. What's interesting is that Taos is not the only place in the world where this phenomenon has been reported. Similar mysterious hums have been documented in places like England, Canada, and Australia. But Taos remains one of the most well-known, in part because such a significant proportion of its population claims to have heard the sound. For those who have experienced it, the Taos hum is more than just a sound. It is an obsession. It leaves them questioning the limits of modern science and reminds us all that our world is still full of secrets waiting to be discovered. The Montauk Project. At the far eastern tip of Long Island, New York, the old Montauk Point Air Force Base remains a place shrouded in mystery, one that stirs the curiosity of countless Americans whenever its name is mentioned. On the surface, the base appears to be nothing more than a collection of abandoned buildings and a weathered radar tower. But behind that facade lies a labyrinth of chilling tales and bizarre theories about secret experiments, stories that, to this day, no one has been able to fully confirm or debunk. People call it the Montauk Project, a series of experiments that are said to have taken place in the late 1970s. According to the accounts of self-proclaimed witnesses and a wealth of secondhand documents, the Montauk Base was once the site of top-secret government trials involving mind control, emotional manipulation, and even time travel. Some who once lived near the base recall seeing strange lights circling the radar tower, hearing a low humming noise, or feeling subtle tremors beneath the ground. Others claim to have experienced inexplicable phenomena, like animals behaving oddly, or a sudden sensation that time itself was moving much faster or slower as they passed through the area. Stories of the Montauk Project truly began to spread when Preston Nichols and several other writers published a series of books, claiming that they themselves had been staff members or volunteers forced to participate in the experiments there. They described witnessing machines capable of reading and controlling human thoughts, inducing mass hallucinations, and even generating time portals that could send participants to moments in the distant past or far-off future. There are accounts that children were abducted to serve as test subjects for mind control experiments, and later, many of them suffered from amnesia or carried only vague, fragmented memories of bizarre events at Montauk. Adding to the legend, some tales speak of the Montauk Monster, a strange creature rumored to be the result of failed experiments. While no one has ever verified the origins of these stories, they continue to spread through news outlets, online forums, and have inspired countless works of fiction, most notably the hit series Stranger Things, which drew directly from the myths surrounding the Montauk Project. Of course, the US government has always denied any allegations of illegal experiments or anything related to time travel. Experts generally agree that most of what is told about Montauk is nothing more than rumor. Even so, Montauk Base remains a pilgrimage site for those fascinated by the paranormal and conspiracy theories. Many visitors come simply to stand beneath the radar tower, snap a few photos, and wonder whether any of the stories they've heard could possibly be true. The Beale ciphers. When it comes to the greatest unsolved mysteries, many people immediately think of the story of the Beale ciphers. This is one of the most famous unsolved treasure enigmas, captivating generations of treasure hunters, code breakers, and anyone fascinated by tales of the strange and unexplained. The story begins in the early 19th century, when a man named Thomas J. Beale is said to have discovered, along with his companions, a vast hoard of gold, silver, and precious gems hidden in the mountains near the city of Bedford, Virginia. After finding this treasure, Beale and his associates buried it in a secret location, then created 3 coded messages with the intention that only their loved ones would ever be able to locate the treasure and learn the names of those involved. Several decades later, an innkeeper in Virginia named Robert Morris unexpectedly received an iron box from Beale, which contained the 3 mysterious ciphers and a letter giving a brief explanation of the treasure's existence. Beale promised to send the key to the codes at a later date, but he vanished without a trace. After waiting in vain for Beale's return, Morris eventually sought help from friends and the public to decipher the coded papers. The 3 Beale ciphers were labeled 1, 2, and 3. To this day, only cipher number 2 has ever been successfully cracked. Its contents reveal that the treasure hidden includes tons of gold, silver, and gems, along with a promise of a massive fortune buried somewhere near Bedford. The 2 remaining ciphers, one believed to specify the exact location of the hoard, and the other said to list the names of those with inheritance rights, have yet to be deciphered. The solution to cipher number 2 is fascinating in its own right. People discovered that the code was simply a long string of numbers, and when the United States Declaration of Independence was used as a key, each number matched a word in the text, the first letter of each word spelling out the secret message. This gave rise to hope that the other 2 ciphers could also be solved if only the correct key could be found. Yet more than 100 years have passed, with countless experts and even modern computers taking up the challenge, and still no one has ever completely unraveled the remaining secrets of the Beale ciphers. Many treasure hunters have traveled to the lands around Bedford, searching, digging, and even devoting their entire lives to decoding the ciphers and finding the treasure. Although nothing has ever been found, the story of the Beale ciphers continues to fascinate people all over America and the world. Some believe it is nothing more than a hoax or a story concocted to attract attention, but many others are convinced that the treasure is real and that someday the secret will finally be revealed. To this day, the Beale ciphers remain among the most famous codes in the world, a symbol of hope, curiosity, and the enduring human desire to conquer the unknown. The Jersey Devil. If you have ever set foot in the dense forests of the Pine Barrens in New Jersey, chances are you have heard the strange tales about a creature the locals call the Jersey Devil. This is not just a local legend, but a part of childhood memories and a source of fear for many generations of Americans who have lived near these woods. The story of the Jersey Devil begins more than 250 years ago, in the early 18th century. According to the most famous legend, a woman named Mother Leeds, who lived in the Pine Barrens, gave birth to her 13th child on a stormy night. Exhausted and desperate, she uttered a curse upon the baby. The moment the child was born, it transformed into a bizarre creature. It had the head of a horse, bat-like wings, a gaunt body, long hind legs, and a tail as thin as a whip. It let out a terrible scream, then flew up through the chimney and vanished into the dark forest. From that moment on, stories about the Jersey Devil began to spread. Many people have claimed to hear chilling cries echoing through the silent night, or to catch a glimpse of a strange figure flying across the forest under the light of the moon. Notably, in 1909, a wave of panic swept across New Jersey when hundreds of residents, police officers, and even newspaper reporters reported sightings of the creature, or found mysterious footprints in the snow, and even on the tops of gates. Some accounts tell of the Jersey Devil attacking livestock, leaving dogs and cats dead under mysterious circumstances. There are those who say they were paralyzed with fear after just one glance at its glowing red eyes and unnatural form. There have even been hunting parties and tourists who set out to track down the Jersey Devil, but all returned empty-handed. Many researchers believe that the Jersey Devil is simply a product of collective imagination, a combination of humanity's fear of nature and the influence of old folk legends. Yet there are just as many who remain convinced that something strange truly does live somewhere in the vast and wild expanse of the Pine Barrens. Even in recent years, there have been occasional reports of people seeing a strange creature with a horse's head and bat wings swooping over roads or perched high in the treetops. To this day, the Jersey Devil remains one of America's most enduring legends. It has not only appeared in books, newspapers, and on television, but has inspired movies, comic books, and local festivals. For the people of New Jersey, the Jersey Devil is more than just a ghost story. It is a symbol of the mystery and allure of the untamed wilderness. The Bell Witch. In the peaceful rural landscape of Tennessee, one of America's most famous ghost stories first emerged in the early 19th century, one that has sent shivers down the spines of generations of locals. This is the legend of the Bell Witch, a spirit said to have haunted the Bell family in Robertson County for years on end. It all began around 1817, when John Bell, his wife, and their children suddenly found themselves plagued by a series of inexplicable events. At first, the family heard loud, violent knocking on the walls and the heavy footsteps of someone walking the dark hallways, though no one was there. But matters quickly grew more serious. Objects in the house began to shake and tremble. Blankets were yanked from beds, and doors and windows would slam shut repeatedly without a breath of wind. The most horrifying part was that the family members, especially the youngest daughter, Betsy Bell, were repeatedly attacked by some invisible force. Betsy would have her hair pulled, be slapped across the face, or even shoved to the ground, though no one could ever see the culprit. Some nights the family would hear whispering voices, or even mocking laughter coming from the shadowy corners of the house. The spirit even began to mimic the voices of Bell family members, and at times it revealed secrets no one had ever shared aloud. Word of the Bell Witch quickly spread across Tennessee, drawing crowds of curious onlookers hoping to witness the events themselves. Neighbors and strangers alike recounted their own stories of hearing strange noises or feeling an icy chill run down their spine when standing near the Bell family farm. Some insisted it was merely a cruel prank, but many others swore that the Bell Witch was entirely real. According to legend, the spirit identified itself as Kate Batts, a neighbor who had held a long-standing grudge against John Bell during her lifetime. Some believe the Bell Witch appeared for vengeance, bringing misfortune to the Bell family. The haunting lasted for years, until John Bell's health was so broken that he died under mysterious circumstances in 1820. Many believed it was the Bell Witch that caused his death, as the same night he passed away, ghostly laughter was said to echo throughout the house. After John Bell's death, the supernatural occurrences on the Bell farm gradually faded, but the legend of the Bell Witch never did. The story has become an inseparable part of American folklore, appearing in countless books, films, and inspiring ghost hunts throughout Tennessee. To this day, many people visit the old Bell family property, hoping to witness something strange for themselves, or simply to experience the lingering fear that once haunted the land. Whatever the truth may be, the legend of the Bell Witch remains one of the most chilling and enduring hauntings in American history, one that still invites us to question the boundary between the visible world and the mysteries that no one has yet explained. The Voynich Manuscript. Across the world, there are many ancient books filled with secrets yet to be solved, but few have baffled the scientific community as deeply as the Voynich Manuscript. This is an ancient manuscript discovered in the early 20th century, and to this day, no one truly understands its contents or its origins. The story begins in 1912, when a rare book dealer named Wilfred Voynich purchased a stack of old books from a monastery in Italy. Among them was a book of over 200 pages, its cover made of sheepskin. But what set it apart was that every page inside was written in a strange script, completely unlike any known language on Earth. The book was named the Voynich Manuscript, after the man who brought it to light. What made the Voynich manuscript famous is that not a single person, not linguists, cryptographers, nor even the best codebreakers in the US military, has been able to read or comprehend its contents. From the moment it arrived in America, the manuscript drew intense interest, from university professors to codebreakers at the NSA and CIA, and from mystery enthusiasts around the world. Hundreds of theories have been put forward, but all of them remain just speculation. The mystery goes beyond its undecipherable language. Inside the book are a wealth of bizarre illustrations, plants that have never been seen in reality, astronomical diagrams, maps, and images of nude women standing in baths or wading through intricate systems of pipes. Some believe it to be an ancient herbal manual. Others suspect a book of magic, scientific notes, or even messages from extraterrestrials. Modern scientific analysis has determined that the book was written in the early 15th century, but who the author was, what its true purpose was, and what its contents actually mean remain unanswered to this day. Many experts are convinced that the Voynich manuscript is not a hoax, as the structure of the language is remarkably complex and internally consistent, showing no signs of random fabrication. Today, the original Voynich manuscript is housed at Yale University Library, but digital copies have been shared all over the globe. Every year, hundreds of researchers, codebreakers, and even international teams attempt to unravel its secrets, but so far, no one has succeeded. Who wrote this book, and why was it composed in a language that no one has ever known? The Voynich manuscript is more than just an unsolved puzzle. It is a symbol of humanity's insatiable curiosity and drive to explore the unknown. It reminds us that our world still holds countless mysteries beyond our understanding, always waiting for those bold enough to try to uncover them. The Lost Dutchman's Gold Mine. In the wild and rugged Superstition Mountains east of Phoenix, Arizona, there exists a legend that has endured for more than a century. It is the tale of the Lost Dutchman's Gold Mine, one of the most famous mysteries in America, attracting not only professional treasure hunters, but also ordinary people who are drawn to adventure and discovery. The story begins in the mid-19th century, during the gold rush that swept across the American West. A German man named Jacob Waltz is said to have discovered a massive gold mine hidden somewhere in the depths of the Superstition Mountains. Waltz lived a rather reclusive life, and before his death in 1891, he revealed the existence of this mine only to a handful of trusted individuals. On his deathbed, Jacob Waltz is believed to have drawn a map or given secret directions to his close friend, Julia Thomas, revealing the location of the gold mine. From that moment on, Julia and many others searched tirelessly, but every effort ended in failure. Nevertheless, tales of the lost mine continued to spread, gradually becoming an endless source of inspiration for thousands of treasure seekers. Over the years, there have been many stories of people claiming to have seen gold or discovered traces of it in these mountains, only to find that all signs vanished mysteriously when they returned. Some tales even speak of treasure hunters who disappeared or suffered accidents while searching in the deep, treacherous canyons. As a result, the Superstition Mountains are not only known for their ominous name, but are also shrouded in strange, eerie happenings and chilling warnings. Some historians believe the gold mine may simply be a product of imagination, yet there is considerable evidence that gold mining did occur in this area during the 19th century. Old maps, cryptic notes, and strange symbols carved into the rocks have convinced many that somewhere in these mountains, a real treasure still lies hidden. Every year, hundreds of people still venture deep into the Superstition Mountains, hoping to be the first to find the Lost Dutchman's gold mine. Many research teams, treasure hunters, and even curious tourists continue their quest, undeterred by the dangers or by the old legends warning of the mysterious disappearances that befall those who become too greedy. The hum. Across the globe, from bustling cities to tranquil countryside, people have repeatedly reported the presence of a strange phenomenon known as the hum. This is a mysterious, low-frequency humming sound, persistent and droning, that only certain individuals can hear. Despite numerous studies, the hum remains one of the world's most puzzling mysteries, with no clear explanation to this day. There are regions particularly famous for this phenomenon, such as Taos in New Mexico, Kokomo in Indiana, and even some suburbs of Seattle and San Francisco. Those who can hear the hum describe it as sounding like a distant engine running, machinery operating underground, or a heavy buzzing that seems to resonate from within the walls. Some say the sound only appears at night, when everything else is quiet, while others can hear it at any hour, day or night. What makes the hum truly strange is that most modern sound measuring devices fail to register any acoustic waves or unusual frequencies when it is present. Because of this, many believe the sound is nothing more than a hallucination or the result of prolonged stress. However, in places where large numbers of people hear it, such as Taos or Bristol in England, the local authorities have launched investigations, but every effort has reached a dead end. Over the years, many theories have been put forward to explain the hum. Some believe it is caused by infrasound emitted from industrial plants or secret military operations. Certain scientists suggest the cause could be natural phenomena, like the movement of the Earth's crust or tremors from small earthquakes that go unnoticed by humans. There are even ideas that the hum is the result of radio waves or experimental technology that has yet to be made public. At the same time, supernatural rumors are never far away. Some people believe the hum is a sign of something beyond human understanding, perhaps the activity of extraterrestrial beings or secret messages encrypted within the fabric of space itself. This ambiguity has made the hum a favorite topic for journalists and mystery enthusiasts around the world. Those who experience the hum say it is not only annoying, but that it also disturbs their sleep, affects their mental health, and leaves them in a constant state of exhaustion. Some have even been forced to move or change their lifestyle in an attempt to escape the sound, yet most have found no truly effective solution. To this day, the hum remains one of the great mysteries of the modern world. Whether you believe in science, conspiracy theories, or are simply curious, the hum stands as an enigma that defies rational explanation. The Black-Eyed Children. If you are someone who often follows strange stories, then you have likely heard of the phenomenon known as the Black-Eyed Children. Children with pitch-black eyes who appear suddenly at night, bringing with them an overwhelming sense of unease and fear to anyone who encounters them. Stories about the Black-Eyed Children first emerged in the late 1990s, when a journalist in Texas recounted his own chilling experience. He described meeting two strange children standing outside his car late at night, asking for a ride home. What sent a chill down his spine was that both children wore old, worn-out clothing, had pale skin, and most disturbingly, possessed eyes that were completely black, like two endless voids. The sense of dread was so intense that he dared not unlock his car, and the children vanished into the darkness almost instantly. Following this story, countless people across America began sharing similar encounters. The common thread is that these children usually appear in the evening or at midnight, often in pairs or small groups, knocking on the doors of houses or cars, asking to be let inside. They speak softly and politely, yet there is always something cold and unsettling in their voices. Many people have recalled that when faced with the Black-Eyed Children, they were suddenly gripped by fear, their hearts pounding, unable to look away from those strange black eyes. Some believe that simply letting these children into your home or car will immediately invite misfortune. For this reason, the Black-Eyed Children have always been associated with bad omens and are considered one of the most frightening urban legends in America. No one truly knows who these children are, where they come from, or why they appear. Some say they are wandering spirits, while others suspect they are extraterrestrial beings in disguise. There are also those who believe these tales are nothing more than products of collective imagination inflated by the internet and social media. Whatever the reason, stories about the Black-Eyed Children continue to spread, leaving many people both curious and uneasy whenever they find themselves home alone at night. The Flatwoods Monster, the strange creature. Reported in West Virginia in 1952 that captured the attention of UFO hunters. In the peaceful countryside of West Virginia in 1952, a bizarre event took place, the appearance of the Flatwoods Monster. This story not only stirred up the local community, but also attracted the fascination of UFO hunters and enthusiasts of the supernatural across America. It all began on the evening of September 12, 1952, in the small town of Flatwoods. A group of teenagers and a mother suddenly saw a glowing object falling onto a nearby hillside. Driven by curiosity, they grabbed their flashlights and decided to investigate. As they approached, the group unexpectedly encountered a tall creature standing silently in the darkness. According to witness descriptions, the creature was about 2 to 3 meters tall, with a heart-shaped head, glowing red eyes, and clad in a dark, metallic-looking cloak. Most notably, its lower body appeared to have tendrils or hovered above the ground, creating an uncanny and mysterious effect. The witnesses also recalled that as the creature moved, a strange and unpleasant odor filled the air, terrifying the group and causing them to flee home. News of the encounter spread rapidly throughout Flatwoods and soon across the United States. Newspapers, UFO researchers, and even the military arrived to investigate, but no concrete evidence of the creature was ever found. However, the strange marks left behind and the consistent testimonies of witnesses only made the case more compelling. In the aftermath of that night, countless theories emerged. Some believed that the Flatwoods monster was an extraterrestrial being who had arrived on Earth via a UFO. Others argued that it was merely a large owl or some other wild animal. Yet, to this day, no one has been able to explain why so many people saw the same creature with such specific and consistent details. Whatever the truth may be, the Flatwoods monster has become a symbol of the town of Flatwoods. Each year, the town holds festivals, maintains a small museum, and hosts activities for tourists eager to learn more about this legendary creature. The image of the Flatwoods monster has also appeared in numerous movies, comic books, and television programs about UFOs. The Curse of the Hope Diamond. The Hope Diamond has long been a symbol of wealth and power, yet it also carries with it a mysterious curse that is said to bring disaster upon anyone who possesses it. The story of the Hope Diamond begins in the 17th century, when it was unearthed from the Kolar mine in India. At first, the diamond weighed over 112 carats and was considered a treasure reserved for royalty and kings. However, rumors of a curse have surrounded the stone ever since those early days. Anyone who laid hands on this gem was believed to pay a heavy price, either misfortune or a tragic death. One of the most famous stories surrounding the diamond is that of Jean-Baptiste Tavernier, the French gem dealer who first owned it. According to legend, Tavernier stole the diamond from a sacred temple in India, angering the gods and invoking a curse upon himself and all future owners of the stone. After selling the diamond to King Louis XIV of France, Tavernier is said to have lost his entire fortune and died under mysterious circumstances in Russia. In the hands of Louis XIV, the Hope Diamond was recut into a stunning jewel adorning the royal crown. Yet bad luck continued to plague the French royal family. King Louis XVI and Queen Marie Antoinette were both executed by guillotine during the tumultuous French Revolution. Some believe the diamond was the source of these calamities, the catalyst behind the bloody downfall of the monarchy. The Hope Diamond continued to change hands many times, and with each new owner, the curse seemed to grow stronger. Its next notable owner was Henry Philip Hope, a British aristocrat who gave the gem its name. Though the Hope family was once wealthy, they eventually fell into bankruptcy and inexplicable misfortune. Members of the family died mysteriously or suffered heartbreaking personal tragedies. At the start of the 20th century, the diamond came into the possession of Pierre Cartier, a famous jeweler. Cartier quickly sold it to the wealthy McLean family in America. Evelyn Walsh McLean, the diamond's next owner, at first dismissed the curse as mere superstition. But soon after acquiring the stone, her life was turned upside down by a string of tragedies. Her son died in a car accident, her daughter died of a drug overdose, and her husband died in a mental institution. All these misfortunes only strengthened the belief in the deadly curse hidden within the blue diamond. After Mrs. McLean's death, the diamond was sold to Harry Winston, a renowned jeweler. Sensing the legend of the curse, Winston decided not to keep the stone for long. He donated it to the Smithsonian Institution in 1958, where the Hope Diamond remains on display to this day. Strangely enough, since the diamond has been in the museum, no major calamities have been associated with it. Has the curse finally ended, or is it merely waiting for its next owner? Many theories have been put forward to explain the true origin of this strange curse. Some historians argue that the tragedies linked to the diamond are mere coincidences, exaggerated by the collective imagination. Others believe the gem truly harbors a mysterious energy, an aura of negativity powerful enough to influence the fate of those who own it. Whatever the truth may be, the Hope Diamond continues to captivate millions of people from around the world. It represents the mystery, allure, and dangerous seduction of things that humanity has yet to understand. D.B. Cooper, a mysterious man, a daring hijacking unlike anything in aviation history, and a disappearance without a trace into the cold night sky. The story of D.B. Cooper stands as one of America's most famous and perplexing unsolved cases, a mystery that has challenged investigators for over 50 years. The story begins on the evening of November 24th, 1971, the day before Thanksgiving. A man calling himself Dan Cooper boarded Northwest Orient Flight 305. He wore a smart suit, sunglasses, and carried himself with a calm composure. No one suspected that just minutes after takeoff, he would carry out one of the boldest hijackings in U.S. history. Shortly after the plane was airborne, Cooper called flight attendant Florence Schaffner to his seat and handed her a small note. At first, Schaffner assumed it was a flirtatious gesture, but when Cooper calmly motioned for her to read it, she realized the gravity of the situation. "I have a bomb in my briefcase." Immediately, tension gripped the cabin. Cooper opened his briefcase, revealing a mass of wires and red sticks resembling dynamite, then dictated his demands: $200,000 in cash, 4 parachutes, and a refueling truck ready and waiting in Seattle for when the plane landed. Cooper remained eerily composed, never panicking or raising his voice, a demeanor that only heightened the anxiety among the crew. When the plane landed in Seattle, the passengers were released in exchange for Cooper's demands being met in full. Cooper kept the flight crew on board and ordered the plane to take off again, this time headed for Mexico City. Then, in a bizarre twist, he instructed the pilot to fly at a lower altitude, at a slower speed, and on a southbound course. At around 8 p.m., as the plane cruised at over 10,000 feet amid thick black storm clouds and heavy rain, Cooper moved toward the rear of the aircraft. That was the last time anyone ever saw him. Moments later, a sudden shift in cabin pressure indicated that the rear door had been opened. The man known as D.B. Cooper had parachuted into the night, taking the entire ransom with him. From that moment on, he vanished completely, leaving no trace behind. The search for Cooper stretched on for months, covering vast swathes of the wilderness across Washington and Oregon. The FBI mobilized troops, local police, helicopters, and tracking dogs, scouring every inch of forest, but not a single clue was found. D.B. Cooper had disappeared as if he had never existed at all. Countless theories have emerged to explain this incredible disappearance. Some believe that Cooper died soon after leaping from the plane, his body lost deep in the wild forests or swept away by the frigid waters of the Columbia River. Yet, the utter lack of evidence has left this theory unproven. Others believe Cooper not only survived, but had meticulously planned every detail in advance. They suspect he may have been an experienced skydiver, someone who had studied the terrain carefully, chosen the perfect landing spot, and slipped away without a trace. For more than 45 years, the FBI investigated thousands of suspects, yet never uncovered any solid proof of D.B. Cooper's true identity. Names like Richard McCoy, Robert Rackstraw, and Kenneth Christensen surfaced at times, but none could be definitively confirmed. Even as several people have claimed to be D.B. Cooper or to know his fate, no one has ever provided convincing evidence. In 1980, a small portion of the ransom money was discovered by a young boy along the banks of the Columbia River, but this only deepened the mystery. Why was only a small fraction of the money found, and where did the rest go? More than half a century has passed since that fateful night, yet D.B. Cooper remains an enigma, a legend in American culture. He has become a symbol of rebellion, of mystery, and of the possibility of outsmarting the authorities. Still, the most important question remains unanswered. Who was he, and what truly happened on that fateful night in 1971? The Ghost Ship, Mary Celeste. This is the story of the Mary Celeste, one of the strangest and most famous maritime mysteries in world history. On December 5, 1872, The ship Dei Graia was making its way from New York to Gibraltar when its crew suddenly spotted a vessel drifting aimlessly among the waves of the Atlantic Ocean. As they drew closer, they realized it was the Mary Celeste, a merchant ship that had left New York just a few weeks prior. But what they found inside left everyone stunned. The Mary Celeste was completely deserted. Every person on board had vanished. The cargo, more than 1,700 barrels of alcohol, remained untouched. Provisions and fresh water were still fully stocked, and the crew's and captain's belongings were undisturbed. Even the dining table was set, with meals left unfinished. What had happened to the 10 people on board, including Captain Benjamin Briggs, his wife, their young daughter, and 7 crew members? Countless theories have been proposed to explain this baffling disappearance. One of the most popular is that the Mary Celeste encountered a sudden emergency, perhaps a gas leak from the alcohol barrels on board. The crew may have feared an imminent explosion and abandoned ship in the lifeboat to escape danger. But if that were true, why did they not return once they realized the ship was safe and there was no sign of an explosion? Another widely discussed theory is that the Mary Celeste was caught in a violent storm or some other bizarre weather event that convinced the crew the ship was about to sink, forcing them to abandon it. Yet, if that was the case, why were personal belongings, the ship's logbook, and all documents left behind so neatly, with no indication of panic? Supernatural explanations quickly surfaced as well. Many believe that the Mary Celeste fell victim to some mysterious phenomenon, perhaps the infamous Bermuda Triangle, or the attack of unseen forces that caused everyone to vanish without a trace. Though there is no evidence to support these claims, the strangeness and inexplicability of the case have kept such theories alive. Others have suggested piracy, but this idea was soon dismissed, since all valuables and cargo were left untouched. No pirate would ever leave such a fortune behind without taking anything. The official investigation dragged on for months, but failed to reach any clear conclusion. Every theory ran into insurmountable obstacles. The crew and passengers of the Mary Celeste disappeared forever, leaving behind a haunting mystery that continues to puzzle the world. For more than 150 years, the Mary Celeste has become a symbol of ghost ships, vessels drifting endlessly at sea, carrying secrets that may never be revealed. The Mothman. The story begins in November 1966 in a small town called Point Pleasant, West Virginia. 2 young couples were driving through an area that used to be a World War II munitions plant, locally known as the TNT area, when they suddenly encountered a strange creature. It stood nearly 2 meters tall with enormous wings like those of a giant bat and glowing red eyes that shone fiercely in the darkness. Terrified, they sped away, but the creature flew after their car for a long distance without ever slowing down. The next day, the incident made the local news. Residents began to report seeing the same creature, sometimes perched on rooftops, sometimes soaring above the dense forests, or standing motionless by the roadside, staring at them with those blazing eyes. A year later, on December 15th, 1967, the Silver Bridge connecting West Virginia and Ohio suddenly collapsed during rush hour, killing 46 people. The official cause was determined to be a faulty steel link that snapped under the weight of traffic. But for the people of Point Pleasant, the disaster was more than a tragic accident. Many claimed to have seen the Mothman around the bridge just days before the catastrophe occurred, and the Mothman's legend did not end in West Virginia. In 1986, several workers at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in Ukraine claimed to have seen a giant black-winged creature with red eyes flying near the site just days before the world's worst nuclear disaster took place. In recent years, there have been numerous reports in Chicago of a dark, winged figure gliding between buildings, appearing near areas where fires or mysterious disappearances have occurred. Scientists have studied the phenomenon and suggested that the Mothman could be a large bird with its red eyes caused by the reflection of light. But what they cannot explain is why this creature always seems to appear right before a real disaster happens, and why the eyewitnesses' descriptions are so eerily similar. Whatever it may be, no one has ever managed to capture it. The Mothman remains a legend passed down for decades. Today, the people of Point Pleasant have erected a giant metal statue of the Mothman with outstretched wings and eyes that always burn red. Every year, the town hosts the Mothman Festival, attracting thousands of visitors eager to experience the mystery for themselves. Wildfires and the phenomenon of spontaneous human combustion. On a July morning in 1951, in the city of St. Petersburg, Florida, a woman named Mary Reeser was found reduced to ashes in her own apartment. Except for a portion of her leg and a charred armchair, the rest of the room was almost entirely untouched. There were no signs of a spreading fire, no smell of gasoline, and no evidence that any flammable items had been affected. The scene was unlike any fire previously recorded. And it was at that moment that the phrase, spontaneous human combustion, the phenomenon of people suddenly bursting into flames, entered the files of the greatest mysteries of modern history. From the 1700s until now, dozens of similar incidents have occurred around the world. In most cases, the victims were almost completely incinerated. Sometimes only a portion of a leg or a few bone fragments remained, while the surrounding furniture and belongings were left intact. This stark contrast has baffled investigators. How could a human body burn at such high temperatures without consuming the entire room? Some witnesses have claimed to see flames erupting from within a person's body, a sight that seems straight out of science fiction. Scientists have spent decades attempting to explain this phenomenon. A common theory, known as the wick effect, suggests that human body fat can burn slowly like candle wax if ignited, with clothing serving as the wick. However, this hypothesis cannot account for cases where there was no external ignition source, and it fails to explain why these fires are often so isolated, leaving their surroundings untouched. Some believe that this phenomenon cannot simply be a coincidence. Is there something at play here that lies beyond the reach of current scientific understanding? Could this be an undiscovered biological reaction or evidence of something supernatural, a force that humanity has never been able to control? Even more astonishing are cases where spontaneous combustion occurs shortly after large wildfires or during periods of unusual atmospheric conditions. Some speculate that Earth's magnetic field, static electricity in the air, or still unknown reactions within the human body might play a role. But whatever the cause, cases of spontaneous combustion continue to pose questions that no one has been able to fully answer. We have entered the age of quantum technology, self-driving cars, and artificial intelligence, yet we remain helpless in the face of the mystery of a human body suddenly igniting in a quiet room, leaving behind no clues. Perhaps science will one day uncover the answer. Or perhaps this is one of the few phenomena that humanity must accept. Some things may simply never be explained. Skinwalker Ranch, the Utah ranch, famous for mysterious phenomena, like UFOs, mutant animals, and shifting realities. Hidden deep within the desolate deserts of Utah lies a ranch known by many names among the locals, but none more chilling than Skinwalker Ranch. For decades, this place has been at the center of countless unexplained phenomena, from unidentified flying objects appearing in the night sky to animals morphing in bizarre ways, and even events that leave people questioning the very nature of space itself. The story first drew public attention in the mid-1990s, when the Sherman family purchased this vast stretch of land to raise cattle. But their peaceful life quickly turned into a nightmare. Their livestock were slaughtered in brutal fashion, their bodies cut with such surgical precision that even veterinarians were left baffled. Then came the appearance of strange lights floating above the ground, emitting electromagnetic sounds and moving in ways no human technology could replicate. It wasn't long before the Shermans decided to sell the property. The buyer was a billionaire with a keen fascination for the unknown, Robert Bigelow. Under his ownership, the ranch became an official research site, heavily guarded, with scientists, physicists, and specialists monitoring the area around the clock. These individuals would go on to witness many of the ranch's most bizarre occurrences. At times, security cameras captured flashes of light that vanished just as a transmission tower was destroyed, leaving no trace behind. There were occasions when researchers claimed they sensed an unseen presence watching them, causing disorientation, dizziness, or symptoms akin to radiation sickness. One team member was even hurled violently into the air, as if struck by an invisible force, and still bears the scars to this day. This place is linked to more than just UFOs and strange happenings. The name Skinwalker comes from Navajo legend, a creature capable of shape-shifting possessing supernatural powers, hiding in darkness, and spreading fear wherever it goes. For the native people, this is cursed land, a place where the boundary between the human world and another realm is always thin and fragile. Investigations have spanned years, crossing over multiple administrations and organizations. While some phenomena may be explained by natural causes such as electromagnetic radiation, infrasound, or hallucinations brought on by isolation, most remain unsolved. Every answer only seems to raise more questions. Today, Skinwalker Ranch remains sealed off and tightly controlled. Research continues quietly behind closed gates. Declassified videos, images, and reports have only fueled public fascination. Whether you are a skeptic or a firm believer in the supernatural, it is difficult to deny that something beyond our current understanding is unfolding here. If you found today's stories fascinating, don't forget to hit like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any future mysteries. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.